welcome to a very special bonus episode of the Chelsea Skidmore Show. I am here today with Steve from Bang.com. Last night, I was working at the Comedy Store in the ticket booth. I met Steve. He is in town for is it an adult expo?
Yes, it's called XBiz. It's like a conference, convention. The whole industry kind of, even though it's like located here, we're spread out all across the world. So we kind of just come in and have like a few days to kind of do face-to-face, get some meetings done, stuff like that.
Yeah, so so Bang.com, if you can't figure it out, it's a porno website.
It's a hardcore porno site.
Hardcore. Yeah. Damn. So this is what is hardcore porn?
I mean, we have double anals going into some girls. Your favorite, apparently.
No, it's not. Oh, because I did that?
Yeah.
Or why? Because
your face is lit up.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well, okay, might light up for the rest of the stuff. It's not my favorite.
Okay. What's your favorite?
Well, keep telling me the categories and then I'll decide.
A lot of air tights on girls.
Air tights? What is that? And let's get graphic. This is a bonus fun episode.
It's when every hole is filled on the girl.
Oh my God.
At the same time. So.
Well, 3 holes.
Yeah.
Any other holes? Ears or nose?
You can have, if the dick's small enough, I guess you can.
Have you seen that? Yeah, have you seen that? Constricting airflow out of every...
Not with dicks, but with hands and stuff, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
For those types of...
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty rough, girls getting tossed around. I mean...
Yeah.
But we have a spectrum, we're not trying to just show just complete, super hardcore, but we have a lot of POV, a lot of teen stuff, a lot of anal, those are kind of our specialties.
Yeah. What about face manipulation? Is that what it's called? Or what is the face one?
Face?
Facial abuse?
Oh, facial abuse?
Is that what it's a category, right? I've heard of that recently.
That's a site. That's more just hardcore face fucking, bukkake, a lot of power stuff. A lot of the rougher stuff tends to slide towards
daddy issues.
Not daddy issues, but power dynamics, owning the girl, pissing on her,
yes.
Stuff like that.
Wow. So what made you want to specifically get into hardcore? Was that just the progression of how porn has kind of...
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that a little bit of...
So when I started working in porn, it was anal was the taboo. And then the trajectory it's taken. It's we've gone through phases of... It used to be anal, then it used to be DPs, and then it used to be the stepmom, mom stuff going on. Now it's public pissing, stuff like that. It just keeps getting pushed.
Public pissing?
Yeah, girls on the street just letting it go.
Oh my God.
So
how is that pornographic? Are they naked?
Yeah, so she has a skirt, lifts her skirt, lets it go.
So that's just more shame, public shame to me.
I mean, she takes it as exciting, so.
Really? Yeah. I saw a funny thing of a girl fucking a snowman in public that had a dildo. Is it stuff like that? Well, I guess that's just something.
I mean, it's something for everyone. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. How do you guys, do you guys are you guys acquiring the content or creating the specific videos?
We do both.
Okay.
So our site, we have a library of 120,000 videos. Mm-hmm. Most of it is called licensed content. So we go out and we kind of peruse and we see other studios. We might acquire stuff from Penthouse or Devil's Films, Nubiles, whoever we can work with and make a deal. And what happens is they sell us the video that they created. So it might get seen a bunch of different places. It might be seen on a very small scale, just between us and the other studio. But then we do our exclusive videos, which is where I come in and we say oh, we want this girl to do this type of scene and have this go on, and this is the theme. And that's just only available on our site.
Do you feel the need to constantly come up with what's going to be the new, what's next? How can we push the envelope? What's that creative session look like when you guys are sitting around a table brainstorming on that?
I wouldn't say we try to create the next trend. It's more about trying to anticipate or be on it, because it's like a wave. You want to be at the top of the wave. You don't want to be coming down into it. So it's seeing, okay, so this is the top trend in Pornhub. So let's get a video put together for that and hopefully get it up in time and kind of ride that wave.
Oh, I see. Okay. So it's just any other, it's almost fast fashion.
Yeah, it's what the market demands. So
wow. So how do you guys measure what the trends are and what's going on? Do you have some sort of specific software, or is it just going on the number one websites and seeing the how they score the video, rate Yeah.
It's a mix of things. So yeah, that's one of the things. We look at Pornhub, we have profiles on there, and we see like, oh, this video got 8 million views. This video got 20,000. Like, what's the difference? Or we have a big social media presence. We try to see like, oh, this tweet got 16,000 likes and 10,000 retweets. Why? What was in it that made people like it? Or we see a girl that we think is going to be up and coming, so we try to jump on her. Like, oh, she's going to be pretty popular, she's big because of her performance or look combination. And there is the idea of like going to the limit. The world we live in, like Playboy is not popular anymore. Why is that? It's totally shifted. So you want to kind of stay as to the limit you can. Obviously, we don't want to do something that we're not supposed to. So we try to stay, anticipate that way.
You hear a lot of social commentary on how things are being pushed with like hardcore, and like how people don't want to let, guys shouldn't be, our children shouldn't be watching it because then they're going to treat women like that in relationships. And I'm sure you have a lot of conversations with people about that kind of thing,
sure,
working especially with hardcore. What is that conversation usually like? And
like my personal life?
No, I don't know. I mean, I guess like I know a lot of people are worried that porn is getting too hardcore. Because it's definitely changed.
No, absolutely. Like, I think the way to look at it...
It's like, what's next then? You need someone to be dead?
Right, no.
Yeah, like how far is it going to go?
No joke. About 10 years ago, I had a conversation with a guy, and he was working for a super popular website, and the girl lost her virginity on live
oh my God.
cam. They had like a whole doctor thing, tested her, said her hymen was intact, and the whole concept was she was going to be strapped down and lose her virginity on a live stream. And I was like, that's pretty... groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a cool thing to do. And so I kind of made a joke like, oh, what are you going to do next? Like, that's pretty amazing. He's like, oh, I'm going to light a girl on fire. He was dead serious. It never happened.
Yeah.
But that mentality of like, oh, you have to keep to what we already discussed, push the limit, right? I think the problem is, yes, there's, some women expect like, oh, I'm supposed to get a facial every time we have to have sex. But porn is a fantasy. Porn's like, it's all created, nothing's real about it in terms of like spontaneity. It's all very strictly ordered out, like, hey, this is what you're going to do, this is the sex we're expecting, this is like the script, this is the people you're working with, like all these like surprise, like, oh wow, where'd that dick come from, I'm just going to suck it, like,
yeah,
that's not real,
right? It's not like as glamorous and spontaneous. It's very like, I'm sure a lot of the actors would describe it as more like mechanical. I'm just reaching for a word. I couldn't think of it.
No, there's a saying like in porn, if the sex is good, then it's not good on film, because porn sex is way different than real sex.
Yeah.
In real life, you're not going to have to open up your hips to the side so the camera can get an angle. The guy doesn't have to be like arching his back backwards to get the camera angle. Like, there's so many things that are not comfortable for the actors and actresses that, it's all about, if anything, if people believe this stuff is real, that means they're selling it better, because that means the sex was good, the scene was done well, and creates that fantasy. So the argument of like, oh, it's changing how people are viewed, I look at it as like, if it's like a parent type of thing, like you need to talk to your kids better. You need to have that open dialogue with like people to say like, hey, this exists, this is what it's for, you can enjoy it. This isn't how you're necessarily supposed to act all the time in real life.
Working in that hardcore space, how has it changed your personal relationship with sex? Because I can't imagine that it's hard for it not to be a little altered, and you probably have to like...
So I think I've been doing this for a while, and it's come to the point where it's kind of like a switch, to be honest with you. Like,
oh, okay.
I've had, when I first started, I was like 22. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm around naked girls, seeing all that. I was like, this is, any guy's dream. But as I got older, to be successful at it, you kind of have to have you have to take a approach and a viewpoint like, okay, why is this going to be good? You see the girl and you want to make sure she's presented the best way you can, and from a creative standpoint how that's going to translate into numbers usually. Like, you can have the same girl do the same, like, one girl's going to shoot for our company, she's going to shoot for another company. I want my scene to be better than the one she shoots for that other company. And how am I going to do that? Like, I can't worry about like how hot or how big her boobs are. Like, I have to make sure she's wearing the right clothing. I have to make sure she's looking the right way. I have to make sure her makeup's not too heavy. I have to make sure...
Oh, really? Makeup not too... So that's changed, right? Because that used to be probably...
Well, some of it just depends on the scene, right?
So I guess what kind of vibe it is.
Yeah, you just have to look at all these little details. You know, you can't just be looking at sex like, oh, wow, that's really hot. She's getting pounded out her ass, right?
I'm sure that gets boring after a while.
Exactly. So you have to make it different. Like, how is her ass pounding going to be different than her ass pounding for this other company?
Oh, God. So, all I thought of what you just said when you said ass pounding is the, what is it?
Prolapse? Oh, we don't do that. I hate that.
You don't?
I can't see that.
But you obviously had that experience. Tell me some of the gross, crazy shit you've seen. Things that have haunted you. The images you can't get out of your head.
Why must you make me relive this? Honestly, like, there's some smells that go on.
Really?
That my friends are always like, I want to go to a porno set. I'm like, no, you don't. It almost like kind of ruins sex for you because you see girls in a way that it's not their fault per se, but it's. I mean, they're the most vulnerable, and there's just stuff that happens, and you're like
what?
I mean, a lot of times it smells terrible.
Like shit when you're doing a lot of anal scenes. Like smell of shit in the air.
Oh, it might fall out. It might come out if they don't clean themselves properly.
Really?
If it's a new girl, let's say she just started doing anal. So she's
she didn't do an enema.
Or she ate too recently. She might think, oh, I just have to do an enema and it'll be fine. Like, no, if you eat like too soon, it's still gonna.
Yeah. Do you ever give like a list like to people before a shoot date that says like, you know, like as if a doctor was gonna give you like, you know, for the night before a blood test, make sure you fast.
The agents kind of do like they kind of prepare them. So we definitely can't do like a spur of the moment anal scene. That's kind of goes back to like, oh wow, you put it in my ass. I had no idea you were gonna do that. Like, no, it was completely like prepared for that. You know? Yeah. So if we book a girl, we're like, oh, we want an anal scene for this date, so she should know to get herself prepared. I've seen like gross colored stuff come out of girls, like green stuff come out of their vaginas.
Well, that sounds like an infection as a girl.
Probably.
Right?
I don't want to know.
Like a greenish liquid?
Like
pouring out?
Like gooey stuff.
That's weird. Yeah. Well, that sounds like an infection.
It was not good, whatever it was, so...
And then she like, sorry.
Yeah. Period sex happens all the time.
Yeah.
They put the sponge in. I'm not sure about that.
You don't think I know about the triangle makeup sponge? Hey, I've been doing that shit for years.
You teach me.
I don't anymore now that I'm married, but I did do that all the time.
Yeah, I didn't know
I learned that when I was like 20. I taught all my friends that.
I had no idea it existed till porn.
Yeah, so that's what they use, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Cetaphil is what they use for cum.
I had to pull a sponge out one time out of a girl.
You
stuck.
did?
Yeah. I was like...
Oh, because she didn't want to do it?
She couldn't, her hand was too small. It was like too far up.
Oh yeah, it's scary. You have to squat down and like fish it out.
I had to like fish hook. It was awful.
Yeah.
I'm all these moments
Make sure
I
they're
tried
squatting
to block out
too, because I think like...
I did it once. That'll never happen again.
What other kind of weird things have...
I've had guys try to fight me on set.
Why is that?
Because, I mean, their egos. Like, dude, I remember the one guy in particular, I was like, hey, you got to change positions. And he's like, oh, I can't. I go, well... this isn't going to work out. Like, you're kind of working for us. Like, you need to move so we can get a different angle. And he's like, well, I think he said he's going to lose his boner if he, like, turned in a different way or something. Anyway, I was just like, okay, well, do you need to take some time? And you got, like, kind of, like, very protective.
No, time? Huh? I can fuck like that.
Yeah. Got in my face. I was like, all right, dude, this is the last scene you're ever going to shoot for us. That's
fine. So do you direct on set?
I don't direct. I just kind of, like, quality control, make sure it looks right, looks good, stuff like that. So,
can I direct one? I honestly have always wanted to, and I think I'd be very good at it. How does that work?
I mean, maybe.
All right, we could talk later.
Yeah, sure.
That would be fun. I would like to do that. Do you guys get rid of the whole like acting element?
We do. We specialize in like Gonzo style, which means...
Okay, yeah, I don't know what that means.
It's kind of like a lot of POV, a lot of like, you know, the girl's mostly in it, so you see her kind of like looking at the camera a lot, and, a lot of side angle stuff like that. That's kind of what we really do. We don't do the whole story feature stuff. That's not our... Is
that kind of a thing of the past? Like when porn was like when they were easing you into it before?
Yeah, I think it's shifting because I think the market is looking more for the girl next door amateur, like the girl you wouldn't think that would do porn. Yeah. And in a feature, she's like made up, glamorous, stuff like that. And I'm not to take anything away from her. Mm-hmm. It's just, you know, that attraction to it isn't today anymore. You know, it's kind of phased out. Now, it's not saying it won't come back in, and there's still a demand for it. You know, but there's definitely been a huge shift in more like the whole amateur style. You know, doing it at home type of thing.
So what is it? Okay, so what does that mean? Like, what is popular today for girls?
It's really about like, imagine you find all these Instagram models and you're like, oh, I wonder what she looks like naked. And then you find her like porno tape. You're like, oh, wow, that's hot.
So that's like the style of the video now.
Kind of like self-shot looking.
Oh,
or kind
yeah.
Like it's supposed to make it look like it's on her phone, or kind of like, oh, I'm just doing this for you, like her boyfriend.
Totally.
Kind of thing, so.
Yeah. I was actually a couple of nights ago, I filmed just like a dancing video with my friends down here. And I had it, and I feel like I know just from my past experience, like I used to send like a lot of slutty photos to guys, you know, when I was dating. And I know that guys like things that look like you took them just for them. Guys are very sensitive about things not being recycled. Right. Like no one wants a professional photo of you in lingerie that some fucking photographer took. Right. They want you to take like an at-home photo that looks like, it's like that very thing that like guys want to feel like very special. Like It's just for them, like no one's watching. So that's probably something that never really dies down, right?
No, not at all. I mean, I think that's why that rise in the amateur, it makes it look like either the shot, like you're seeing something that no one else is supposed to see, even though like millions of people are going to see it, or it makes it look like, to your point, like, oh, I shot this just for you to view, you know? So you either kind of get the chance to receive it and no one else is going to see it, or you just happen to stumble on it and it's like a secret, but it's not. So.
Do you think... who were like some of the people who really like got the hardcore like trend going? Would that be like Sasha Grey with her face fucking kind of thing when she first came out? Because I know she I'm the same age as her, I think. Okay. So like I started watching those videos and I was like 18, you know, and it was like crazy. But to me, like, you know, I wasn't like an avid porn viewer, but like it was to my understanding that she was doing something like groundbreaking essentially.
So yeah, when with Sasha, she had like a very natural look. Like you remember, like no big boobs, you know, regular, you know, like a good butt, but not like huge. She looked like the girl next door.
Yeah.
Right? And she was doing extreme things that, not to say no one else has ever done, but like she just went for it and she enjoyed it and it came off on camera. So that was a big part of the attraction. Like you can have a girl do the same thing, but one girl might be much better at it because she's either into it or sells it better, you know. Some girls are like, oh, I love doing anal. I'd rather do that than vaginal sex, you know. They're like, can you book me just for that? I was like, sure. Like
anal queens.
Yeah.
What's the term?
Anal queens worse.
Yeah, I don't know. Anal is just like it makes me nauseous.
I haven't done it, so I wouldn't know.
Really? Ever?
On myself? No.
Really? You've never had anal sex?
With the girls, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Oh, yeah. But I actually don't like it.
Yeah, it's gross to me.
It's like too tight. It doesn't really feel the same.
Right. Okay, so I noticed that you're married.
Mm-hmm.
How long are you married to someone who works in the industry?
No.
Okay, so what is that like?
She hates my job.
How long have you guys been together?
5 years.
And so, yeah, what was that like for your, like, when you were dating, like, were you upfront with what you did?
Oh, day one. She knew automatically.
And is that still a struggle? Like, how do you not be jealous? How do you not, you know, wonder what, you know?
I think she looks at it as like a kind of, like she won. Like I see all these girls, I see them naked all the time. But at the end of the day, like I go home to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So I think in a way it kind of gives it, maybe it's her ego boost. She's like, oh, wow, I got picked out of all this.
When I was a stripper and I was dating this guy, he'd be like, they have your body, but I have your mind. And I was like, fucking loser.
You had his money.
I was like, they also have my mind. No, just kidding. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't. Anyways, so yeah, what about guys with like staying hard? Do guys like inject stuff into their dick? Like, what are some of the behind the scenes things that people do to enhance their performance and their bodies?
Pumps are popular. Like
really?
Yeah, a Viagra is a staple. Like they all do it. Cialis.
Do you just have it on set at the craft service bar?
I wish it was that easy.
What kind of things are available? Like
so we can't,
douches on set?
Yeah, douches, enemas, wipes, baby wipes, stuff like that. We can't as a company because it's a prescription. We can't say like, oh, here's your drug, but. I mean, if they're a pro, they will bring it with them so they know what's up or take it beforehand. Like,
how do people stay wet? Girls.
Well, there's a lot of lube involved. So.
But you never see it. It's always, so I guess that's a behind the scenes. Because you literally never see them putting lube on.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't understand how they could possibly stay wet.
She's good at it. It's
so much lube, right?
Yeah, I mean, lube's pretty. I mean, it's one of the staples of the craft service thing too.
What's the best lube, you think?
I have no idea.
Really? There's not like a lube that's like, yeah, actually that's the best one.
No, I don't really.
And Cetaphil is what they always use for cum shots, right?
Yeah, you do you mix it with water, so it's kind of like a watery mix.
Mm-hmm.
So you do your still shots at the end. After he pops, and then she wipes her face, then you put the Cetaphil on. Hopefully his dick's still hard, and you put it right next to it to make it look like an epic cum shot. So
yeah, I went to a bukkake shoot.
Oh, really?
Honestly, the first date that I went on with my husband was a bukkake. It was America Bukkake Jennifer White shoot. Okay. It was pretty crazy.
So tell me, what's the weirdest thing you've seen in porn?
Well, like watching it?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't watch that much porn anymore.
No,
I watch it
at the bukkake shoot.
Oh, at the bukkake? Well, it was kind of just like, I honestly just felt really bad for her.
Because a lot of guys, huh?
How
many was it?
There was so many. I have a picture I'll try to bring up or I can show you after because I won't be able to think while I look for it.
Okay.
Probably like 40 guys.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy because I don't know. I just felt really bad for her because it's like I've gotten cum in my eye. It like her whole face, and it burns, you know?
Sure.
And her whole face was just covered. And when everyone was finished, there was like the element of like, anyone else?
Yeah.
And then the guy holding the boom was her husband. And goes to my husband, who was my boyfriend, or a guy I was dating at the time.
Date.
But we were friends. We were best friends, so I felt totally comfortable with it. But yeah, he was like, "You're not gonna come on my wife, dude."
He was insulted.
Yeah. So I was like, "Go ahead, do it." So he did it, and then I spit in her mouth too.
Oh, nice.
And then this girl who happened to be on set just came over and licked it off her face. Which I thought was like so fucking gross.
I feel bad for her.
I
Jennifer
know.
White.
And she was like smiling, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? Like, okay, so what about like, so that to me was like, ugh. Like, do you feel bad sometimes for the girls or are you disassociated?
I mean, they know what they're signing up for. If you tell a girl like, hey, I want to do a bukkake scene with this many guys, I mean, she's going to tell you yes or no. She might, instead of 40, she might ask for 20. I don't know. But I mean, at the end of the day, like they're all adults. They know what they're getting into. You know, I can't feel bad for them more than I feel bad for a guy having to dig a hole in the rain for construction. Like, you know what they signed up for, you know, and they don't want to do it. That's by all means. You know, no one's forcing anyone to do these things.
Yeah. What about like, what's like the general age range for women before their time is kind of up?
I'd say around 30. It's either you're going to stay in it or you're out.
18 to 30.
Yeah, I'd say 20 to 30.
20 to 30.
I mean, there's a lot of 18-year-olds, but I think they kind of like progress into it. Like, I don't think many of them wake up on their 18th birthday like, oh, I'm going to do this. But they might start in cams. They might start with stripping. They might start in like other elements of adult and then shift into it. I think around 30, they're kind of at the point in their lives like, okay, if I'm going to keep doing this, I'm going to be the MILF, or I'm going to be doing like maybe more hardcore scenes I don't want to do. Like she's already done everything and she's like, okay, now I got to do like double anal and I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? And she kind of has to figure out for herself, like, does she want to keep going or not? And so
that's sad. Not to be a dick.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's sad. It's just like part of their career. Like,
yeah. Do you see a lot of girls crying and then they're like, I'm
crying from what?
Just like on set in the middle of shooting and then they have to stop because it's just like
painful
emotionally and physically.
And
I'm not trying to be a dick, but I could just put myself in that position.
I wouldn't say emotionally. I've seen girls cry if like the guy's got like a big dick.
Yeah.
And like she wasn't ready for, not to say she wasn't ready, but like she thought she was more prepared for it than she was.
I've had I know what you mean.
Right. You know.
Because I've hooked up with some guys with like, I mean, you really remember ones that it stands out.
Yeah.
And like, you know, some people, it's just like so painful that they're like, I feel bad for you. And I feel bad for them because it's like, so they say it's like this with everyone.
For a while, there was a popular kind of was like getting like a really, really tiny, small white girl with a big black guy.
Yeah.
And that took off. And then it turned into getting like really, really tiny, small white girl. I'm talking like 4'11", 90 pounds with like 5 black dudes. And so you're just like, I mean, the imagery is incredible. Like seeing all of it. But that's when that was my, I feel bad for you because I'm like, wow, you're a champ. You're trying to take this. And I mean, you're doing it, but you're not going to walk well for like a week. So
yeah. Are you like, can I get you a blanket and a makeup wipe like at the end?
No, ice. Like
ice?
I'm sure.
Do people use ice?
No, but that's what you think they need. I mean, they're going through the ringer, you know?
And isn't it true that they only work a couple of days a week? Specific people?
No. I mean, the more porn you do, the more your body's used to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's happened before in the sense of like, we book a girl, let's say we want her for like an anal scene, but she has like a huge dick anal scene the day before. She might call us and say like, can we either change it or like, I'm not gonna be
she needs a little
for
time
it.
to tighten back up.
Right, she's got to recover. So, but she could be doing it for years and it won't matter anymore. And she could do like 5 in a row. So, you just have to listen to your body, I guess. You know?
Ugh, the prolapse. Wait, have you seen the prolapse?
I've seen it. I hate it.
Being taped?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's like they call it the rosebud. It's awful.
Ew! No! Wait, how does it get like that again? I'm really just picturing it.
How does it happen?
How does it happen again?
It's when like the intestines are starting to fall out because the tightness like doesn't keep it in anymore.
Wait, that's someone whose asshole is too loose? Or?
Well, because like if you're getting banged in the ass, like you start to loosen up, and then if the guy pulls out and like it comes out with him, like the intestines that were like sheathing his dick. So you want a graphic, so
I know, but I just oh my god, that's so gross.
Not my thing.
Right? What else are like really gross things like that? That's like the grossest, huh?
I mean,
what's like have you ever like been on a set and like something was like so crazy you're like, I think we're going too far, guys? Like is there any moral conversations with you and like some side conversations or like we can't fucking put this out there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what are those? Please. We need details.
It's more like I think for a girl, let's say a girl's been in the industry for a year and she wants to make like a good impression. So she signs up for something or agrees to do something, and then she thinks she can do it, and you can see like the fear in her eyes, like deer in headlights.
Wow, like what? Let's
say we're like, oh, we're gonna have you do an IRDP,
which is
interracial double penetration.
Okay.
And she's like 5'3", $105, and we got like 2 10-inch dicks coming in. They're gonna like ramrod her at the same time, and she's like, oh yeah, I can handle it. I've been practicing, whatever. And she starts and like she's trying to power through, but. I mean, we've made those decisions before. Like, hey, it's okay. We're gonna go in a different direction. Like, that's the moral part of it. I would say, like, don't do something that you don't want to do just to please us, and then have it like regret it, obviously. And then it also just doesn't look good. You know, like you don't want to see. Unfortunately, I think there maybe are some guys that want that, but like you don't want to see a girl in pain. Like you want to see her enjoying it. So it's more about like, you know, how does this really look? You know, she's scared. She's not enjoying it. She doesn't look like she's enjoying it. She's not having fun. She's gonna regret it. Like that's when you have to turn it.
Yeah,
go a different direction.
And why are like, isn't it crazy how people, you know, girls watch porn and then they're always trying to like perform, and it's like, calm down.
I mean, I think
like the noise that people make in porn, it's like no one does that. No one like makes noises like that with like the girls.
I know.
Like where did that come from?
That's part of the fantasy.
Where did that come from? Girls like making baby noises.
I think it goes back to, you know, there's a cool quote I think with like this guy was married to like a super, super hot girl, like biggest model, whatever. And he's like, oh, why he got caught cheating on her? It's like, why would you cheat on this girl? She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. And the guy's like, well, I've been married her for 5 years. Like, well, what's wrong with that? He's like, imagine eating your favorite dinner every single day for 5 years. And you can kind of relate. You're like, oh, yeah, I get sick of it too. Now, obviously, he didn't marry her for more than the looks, and that's a different conversation. But what I'm trying to get at is like, if he has this fantasy of having that talk or the screaming, maybe not every time, but every once in a while, he wants his wife to do that. Every once in a while, he wants anal sex. Every once in a while, he wants to come on his wife's face. Like, if it's not a regular thing, I don't think it's necessarily like a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's more about if the girl thinks she has to do that every single time, then it gets to be kind of like...
Well, that's like mentally ill. No, not really.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really want it. You're like, cool, you did that 48 times already. Like, I want something different, you know? So.
Yeah. You mentioned like certain girls know certain angles. Like, is that what's like the mark of a good porn actor?
Being able to kind of just, do a scene quickly and correctly, you know? Like, if you don't have to tell her a lot, the best way to shoot is not to have a lot of cuts. So if you can get the camera rolling, and obviously the camera's going to move around and, you know, get different angles, but if you don't have to keep cutting to like, you know, reposition her, reposition him, or, you know, she's having issues doing something, whatever. You know, if the girl's like super pro about it, she's there on time. That's a mark of a pro right there.
Yeah.
She shows up on time.
Yeah. What about people using drugs? Like, I'm sure a lot of people get fucked up. Of course. I can't imagine how like...
On set, you mean?
Well, I'm sure that obviously happens. I know that you probably don't want to...
Well, we can't... We don't film them if they're messed up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you probably had a lot of experiences like that.
We've had girls show up to set kind of like loopy or like go home. Like
really?
Yeah, because if she films and she's on... Let's say she's on like Xanax or something, and then goes home the next day and said like, oh, I didn't want to do that. And it's like a rape
liability.
Charge. Yeah, like we're not going to do that. We don't allow drinking. There's no drugs.
So they're sober?
Yeah.
That's not fun. No, I'm just kidding. I know. That's hardcore.
Yeah.
Wow. Hardcore. Well, Steve, I wish I could have you on longer. I didn't like plan my thing long enough, and I have to go have a meeting at 4:30.
Skip your meeting.
I know. I know. This is so fun. Well, I want to come to the party tonight with my friend.
Okay.
Can we still come?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll have to have you back on. Oh yeah. So your parents don't know that you do this?
No idea.
What do they think you do?
I tell them I work for a website in the marketing area.
And they don't ask any questions?
My parents are like technology terrible.
Yeah.
So they'll start asking me things about like details, and I can just like spit out like terms that they have no idea, and they're just like, okay, whatever.
You're like CEO. They're like, what? I mean SEO.
Yeah, right.
Not CEO. That's a good one to just use a bunch of terms that exhaust people and that make them feel dumb.
Yeah, they're just like basically.
What about like your friends and people you meet? Are you cautious with telling them?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't know who you're gonna meet, and if they're like super into it, it usually freaks me out because I'm like, all right, you're a super fan. Like I don't want to.
Was I like that?
No.
Okay.
But if they're like, oh, do you know this girl? What's she like? Blah blah blah. They ask me like a million questions. Like, all right, you watch way more porn than I do, apparently.
Really?
And then if they're like super conservative, you might not know off the bat. So, you know, I'm not saying you have to agree with what I do, but at the same time, like I'm not here to like force it on anybody. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
And do you watch porn yourself?
No.
Or are you bored of it?
That's done.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking boring? Do you always feel like you're trying to find new and exciting ways to spice things up personally?
I would say no. I was like, my wife and I have like a pretty good sex life. So, you know, while we don't incorporate porn into our sex life, like she knows like what I like and what I'm into, and she kind of plays off of that, and you know, it works.
So you're based in San Diego,
right?
So you guys film down there?
No, we film a lot in LA.
Oh, okay.
We do some in San Diego, but it's a lot in LA.
But you don't live in LA?
No.
You drive up every day?
No. I commute. I'm not on every set.
Okay. But primarily what? They're in like Chatsworth.
The Woodland Hills, Chatsworth area.
What's
Porn
going
Valley.
And what's going on with the whole condom thing?
Oh, I mean, that's been over and done with for a while.
Oh, so that like came and went? So
yeah, I mean, it's you're supposed to use it, and it can be an OSHA violation if reported, but...
Because I thought that was like a new thing that happened. That was like a new rule.
No, that was kind of an old rule.
Oh, okay. I might have that wrong.
I mean, it's one of those things like, how do you enforce that? You know?
Yeah.
You know, is the city of LA going to send people out to random houses, like spot check? Are you guys having sex in here? Is it for a porn production? Are you guys using a condom? Like, come on. Like,
yeah, there's too many. Yeah, you can't. And what about like STDs?
So the girls and guys, they test. They have to have a valid test that's valid for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
it tests for chlamydia, gonorrhea, HIV, and
herpes.
No.
So, I mean, I'm sure people try to get by with that, and it's like, what is that?
If we see a breakout, we don't film it. So
yeah. Isn't that an awkward conversation? Like, I'm sure, like a girl, like, you know, yeah, like, you know, me even as a girl, I've gone to hook up with someone about to give them head, and I'm like,
I mean, it's probably
what is that?
I think it's more awkward for you because I think at this
people try to get away with shit though.
Yeah, but they also, the good thing is they get called out pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know, like word travels fast within the community. So
oh.
Like, yeah, they're like, oh, this so and so tried this. You're like, oh, cool. And you kind of like have your radar up, either, you know, see what happens or, you know, don't work with them again. But, you know, if something happens, I think everyone's adult enough to be like, oh, we're not going to film this today. So.
I love it. Damn, I'm going to direct an episode for you guys.
Do it. Could have the podcast gone wild.
Thank you so much, Steve, for coming on. Check out bang.com, your website. Is there any, like, do you guys do, it's like a password website, right?
Yeah, it's a pay site.
Okay. Well, pay for it if you want to see it.
We have great stuff to see. So.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Bye.